Why would Mike D'Antoni enter the playoffs on his knees already making excuses and trying to act like it's got to be championship or bust? When you've built this team with the best record in basketball, the mentality needs to be championship or bust. I don't like Mike D'Antoni coming into the playoffs making excuses already, or the season's fine if we don't win a title.
Season ain't fine. Regular season MVP for James Harden ain't fine. Mike D'Antoni has not been the same since he lost the mustache, okay? 60-plus wins in Phoenix. He's had 50 wins here, 50. It all means nada. It all means nothing. This regular season huffing and puffing means nothing. Because come next training camp, when you didn't win anything again, you were not going to know about the MVPs and the wins. It means nothing. It means nothing. I can't believe that he said something
the entire season.
I totally agree.
I think he's removing the rhetorical pressure from his team. He understands that they have to win. That locker room understands that. James knows it, and Chris Paul knows it. P.J. Tucker, who I coached in Phoenix, is a dog. That conversation is all or nothing. Every possession matters. Get locked in, get focused. And Mike D is playing. He's playing his cards well. He understands this is his greatest chance to win a championship compared to the past.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with the coach here. If he says, oh, it's all about the playoffs, you put added pressure on these guys. You remember what Chris Paul's done the last 3 years in the playoffs? Last year, choked in Game 7 against Utah at home. Year before that, broke his hand against the Blazers. Year before that, they were up 3-1 on Houston and gagged. The history of James Harden and Chris Paul in the postseason is awful. Mike D'Antoni, you guys are going to love this. He has one playoff series win in the last decade. Why would you talk about the playoffs? I would totally agree with Earl. Just talk about the regular season. It's been great.
But why would you, you think that these little comments are like P.J. Tucker? He doesn't eat. That guy's ready to eat. You don't think Chris Paul knows about the NWA never winning anything in Los Angeles? And that's my guy. And Harden and all that stuff. So I don't think saying that adds anything. Because when they get bumped, and they are getting bumped.
Yes, I would agree with you.
All this is going to come back and bite them.
And when they get bumped, now this comment is going to come back to haunt him. I'm going to sit there and say the coach
another Mike
didn't want it, knew it was coming, and started before the playoffs even started. Hey, guys, we may lose, but we had a great season.
Yep.
He's throwing a ticker tape parade for the regular season championship. That's a joke.
But this is to the media. He doesn't want the media then going asking his guys about playoff failures.
There's other things
he wants them talking about the lovely regular season that they were so outstanding
Forget that regular season. Forget that regular season MVP.
Let me ask you this as a coach, Earl. Isn't it sometimes good to apply pressure to your players?
It's personality driven. And I would think that he had a meeting with his team and explained this statement before he made a statement.
Really?
But I guarantee, if not, he definitely had a meeting after this statement. And I guarantee you, Chris Paul and James was like, hey, I know what you said is what you said, and for whatever reason, but let's get this straight right now. In this locker room, that is not our attitudes, and that's unacceptable if you think if we lose, it's okay. It's a title or nothing.
Everybody knows that, though, right? I mean, would you explain that? Oh, the reason why I said this was... Yeah, we know what it is. Like Dan Antonio, James Harden, especially Chris Paul, and I love Chris. They know what it is. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring. If they don't walk away with that ring, none of this matters.
Isn't this the same as the Oscars when you get nominated? Oh, I'm just happy to be nominated. I can't. Everybody else is so outstanding.
No.
And then you know the real pressure. I got to win. I got to win or this is devastating.
Jason. Chris Paul has, and whatever actor, Jennifer Aniston, whoever, they don't have control. Well, again, whoever.
I'm just saying.
They don't have control over the Oscar voting. Chris Paul, James Harden, they can control what happens on that basketball court.
Not against the Warriors.
It's a completely different deal. I just don't think this is going to work. I know that the playoffs are about flipping a switch and going to a different gear, but I just don't think you're going to overcome an 82-game regular season of not playing defense and then play enough defense in the postseason. I just don't. I think that's too hard of a switch. I get the guys can play with better effort, but remember, the other team's going to be playing with better effort as well. I think the Cavaliers' defensive deficiencies will catch up with them in these playoffs. Now, is that much of a bold statement? Because it may not catch up with them until the finals. But I don't think they can win a title because of their defensive efficiency or lack of defensive efficiency.
Did they actually announce their slogan? Does
Yeah.
every team announce a slogan? Is that like a precursor to get into the playoffs?
Certain teams, it's worked for LeBron, but you got
They announce a slogan. Like, did they vote for it amongst themselves,
They
like over
did.
wine tasting?
I don't have a problem with the slogan.
I have a problem with the fact that they announced their slogan. Y'all ain't, they're not winning. They could do slogans. They could do Defend the Land, Part 2. They're not winning jack a bone, Coach.
I think transition basketball in the East is kind of limited. Toronto's the best team in the East by record. They play in half court. DeMar DeRozan and that company, they play in half court. Dwayne Casey could be Coach of the Year. So LeBron is not going to have a problem in the East unless he faces a young 76ers who are too young to maybe close games in a 7-game series. Then I think going into the West, that's when you have that monster of transition defense. In every championship game they lost versus the Warriors, they lost that in transition. And that's where the game is going to change. So you can't flip a switch. You can't say it's playoffs, now it's time to pick it up. You got to have that intensity every game, and especially the last 20 games after All-Star break leading into the playoffs.
I mean, like, look, I think we all see it, right? We all know that there's a reason that there's cliches, and cliches have been repeated over time. Going gets tough, the tough do get going. And offense wins games, defense do wins championships. So none of us feel like the Cavs are a championship team. The problem is the East. Boston's not healthy. Washington can't figure out whether they want to or don't want to play with John Wall. Nobody believes in Toronto because we saw when Toronto was puffing out their chest, they gave up 132 to the Thunder and to the Cavs in the same week, right? So, like, if I don't love the Cavs. I don't love the roster. I don't love the idea of a 10-man rotation in the playoffs. I just don't know who else in the East would beat them, Jay. That's the big problem.
And so let me see if I'm hearing you correctly, Earl. You agree with Doug. No one in the East can exploit their defensive inefficiency. Let's say Philadelphia is young, but the Cavs make you play with so much confidence because it's so easy to score the basketball. Can't that perhaps get a Philadelphia over the hump against the Cavaliers?
They have no one who can defend LeBron. And when you're taking the ball out to inbound the ball instead of catching a rebound, getting a steal, and outletting for a fast break, it's going to be half-court basketball. And LeBron is the best at changing the game offensively without a coach's strategy. He's like a big Rondo. Rondo, to me, is one of the best point guards in postseason because he can give you 3 or 4 game plans on the fly. He changes it, he builds it. LeBron has that capability. And no one out the West, to me, can even compete with LeBron except for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, and then I think Houston just has too much offense otherwise. I mean, those are the two that they would match up with. So, I mean, look, I look at it and you try and figure out what we're saying about the 76ers. Even watch when they had a 30-point lead last week.
Yeah.
They have better talent. The problem is they get a 30-point lead and, all right, now I'm going to get mine, now you're going to get yours. They have no idea how to close games. It's too much because playoff basketball is just different. They are going to make LeBron's going to make Ben Simmons make jump shots, and he won't even take them, let alone make them in the playoffs. And so does Philadelphia, if Embiid's healthy, do they have a better roster? Absolutely. But that's not going to win you playoff games. LeBron is going to win playoff games if he faces the 76ers, and we've seen Toronto's act enough. They are good in the half court. They are good in the regular season. But how many times do we have to see LeBron destroy the Toronto Raptors before we go, you know what? It's just not going to happen for you.
Okay, y'all sold me on the East, but I want to, before we go, Earl, are you saying that Kevin Durant and Golden State is the only team that can handle LeBron in the finals? Or you think Houston can't handle LeBron?
I don't think the Rockets can handle LeBron. LeBron, who's going to defend him? Joe Johnson? James Harden? Who's going to defend him? He's going to dominate that series. And Kevin Durant, to me, if they had a healthy team, they would get out the first round. I don't think they get out the first round.
Whoa.
I think Pop in San Antonio comes through.
We're going to get to that.
And they just break them down the way Pop breaks down every team.
Break them
We're
down.
going to get
Break
to
'em
that. We'll
down.
get to that later in the show. He doesn't think the Warriors are getting out of the first round. I can't wait to hear this.